Kissing and the kissing make
happy victory to true parents.
Unified
Oh, happy victory. Happy victory to you. Happy victory to parents. Happy victory to you. Once again. Happy victory to you. Happy victory to you. Happy victory to parents. Happy victory to you. One more time. Happy victory to you. Happy victory to you. Happy victory to parents. Happy victory to you.
천일국 5년 10월 20일 라트비아 자녀들이 참부모님께 경배드리겠습니다. 천지인 참부모님께 경배!
박수. 물 좀 잡수시고. 윙크 해주세요.
그래. 사자.
러시아 말로는 읽히십시오.
순독해.
호랑이는?
아이 호랑이.
오리는?
그 어리는 참새는 우리 둘 뭘 가져가는 거야?
훈독해.
가져?
예, 가정이 되어 있습니다. 야, 이거 훈독.
어제 현진이 저보다 버가 이거 주는 거.
홍진이. 그건 또 안 되지요. 번역.
안 됐어?
하라고 해.
이거 됐다.
그래서 나오야 좀 내밀려 입에 내밀려.
Что в церкви объединение считается первородным грехом, неправильно использованной любви. Мы должны были связаться с Божьей любовью, жизнью и родословием. Вместо этого мы оказались связанными с любовью, жизнью и родом дьявола. Из-за того, что Адам и Ева стали воплощением сатанинской жизни и продолжателями сатанинского рода, вся наша история была полна скорби. Почему же всеведущий и всемогущий Бог, создавший с основ всю Вселенную, полновластный и независимый от какого бы то ни было, допустил, чтобы сатана в ходе истории довел человека до такого убожества, привел его в столь жалкий вид? Неудивительно, что люди пришли к выводу о том, что Бога нет. В моей жизни было много обидных и унизительных историй. Было много такого, чего я просто не стерпел бы с моим-то характером. У меня прямо комок застревал в горле. Однако мне приходилось просто прикусывать язык и подчинять мир Каина. Я должен был переваривать не отдельных личностей типа Каина и не семьи типа Каина, а целый мир типа Каина. Горько, ох, как горько. Мне пришлось растопить глыбу горечи величиной с айсберг. Я должен был запихнуть ее себе в рот и молча подчинить сатану, величайшего и злейшего врага всех поколений, который разбил жизнь Бога и привел к краху человечества. Дьявол стал отцом прародителей падшего человечества. История спасения столь тяжела из-за того, что люди унаследовали жизнь и любовь сатаны. Почему Бог, которого христиане называют всеведущим и всемогущим, кажется столь бессильным? С людьми столько проблем. Почему же Он ничего не может сделать? Он оказался в ситуации, когда его сочли мертвым. Грех был совершен человеком, поэтому Бог не сможет его освободить, пока сам человек не создаст освобожденную сферу для решения этой проблемы. Если бы Бог мог это сделать, Он с самого начала не стал бы изгонять Адама и Еву из Эдемского сада. Если бы Бог мог поступать, как Ему вздумается, Он не стал бы выгонять их из Эдемского сада. Однако у Него просто не было другого выхода. У нас должна быть истинная душа, которую хочет найти Бог. Он все время ищет истинную любовь. Находясь на передовой провиденциальной истории спасения и восстановления, Он постоянно искал истинного Сына, чья чистая любовь изливалась бы обильным потоком, словно водопад. Этой любви с избытком хватало бы на то, чтобы омыть горестную грудь Бога, всю испачканную и израненную. Бог упомянул бы такого человека и забыл обо всем на свете. Он даже сказал бы, что, несмотря на грехопадение, он еще более счастлив. Бог хоть где-нибудь может пережить подобное. Таким должен быть каждый мужчина. Все это время сатана насмехался над Богом, говоря ему: «Ты хочешь создать единый истинный род? В этом твой абсолютный идеал любви и твой идеал творения. Но для этого нужно родословие любви, которое полностью уничтожено. Оно в полнейшей разрухе. Неужели ты думаешь, что логика твоего идеала творения применима до сих пор?» Что Бог может на это ответить? Представляете, как это невыносимо? Изначально человек должен был стать сыном владыки. Вместо этого он стал сыном его врага. Человечество оказалось в затруднении, из которого оно не в силах выбраться. Найдутся ли среди христиан те, кто ясно понимает всю горечь Бога, взирающего народ людской? Если человек пришел на землю как родитель человечества, можно ли сказать про него: он пришел не для того, чтобы его почитали как родителя, а для того, чтобы умереть, пролив за нас свою кровь? Родитель должен устроить пир любви для своих сыновей и дочерей, для своей семьи и страны, чтобы весь мир пришел к согласию. Он должен воспеть этот день мира и славы и встретиться со своими потерянными детьми. Вместо этого, встретившись с ним, он получил от них удар ножом и умер. Подумайте, каким несчастным был Иисус, как невыносимо тяжело сердцу Богу под грузом обстоятельств, которые невозможно объяснить невежественному человечеству. Во мне живет историческая обида, приводящая меня в ярость. Мои личные обиды — это ничто. Бог не может выступать в роли Бога. В ходе истории возникло множество ситуаций, когда Богу приходилось плакать так горько, что, казалось, таяли его кости и оставлял за собой кровавый след. Знаете же, что его слезы и кровь взывают к нам от земли. Я до сих пор выполняю свою миссию, потому что знаю, на мне лежит задача освободить Бога от скорби. Бог, взявший на себя ответственность за восстановление падшего мира, не может пребывать лишь в возвышенных, красивых, святых и опрятных местах. Его положение настолько жалкое, горькое и ужасное, что человек не в силах представить его или описать. Вы почувствуете облегчение, если вас утешает тот, кого обидели больше вас. Однако Бог пережил больше горя, чем кто бы то ни было, поэтому среди людей нет ни одного, кто мог бы его утешить. Бог — это начало и конец, поэтому перед ним до сих пор стоит вопрос о том, как избавиться от накопившейся в его душе неизбывной скорби. Таковы его внутренние обстоятельства. Бог до сих пор вершил проведение восстановления, нося эту проблему в себе. Вы когда-нибудь плакали от желания видеть Бога? Приходилось ли вам рыдать за хлеб, чтобы текло и из глаз, и из носа? Случалось ли вам оказываться в таких несправедливых и горестных ситуациях, что слезы сами катились из глаз? Такие переживания становятся вехой на пути к миру сердца. Бог должен был вечно жить с человеком. Как велики были его страдания, унижения, обиды и горечь, когда он расстался с ними. Человек должен был стать зрелым, стремясь обрести основание любви, которое нельзя было бы променять на всю Вселенную. Тогда, стоя на линии равновесия, он создал бы единую ось, сочетающую в себе и вертикаль, и горизонталь. Эта ось стала бы эталоном для всей Вселенной и всего творения. Разве не так? Тогда все, что связано с этой любовью, сочеталось бы друг с другом в гармонии. Дьявол надругался над 4 поколениями. 4 поколения царица, мать царя, его бабка и его дочь жили все вместе. Среди белого дня, прямо на глазах у царя, сатана раздел их до нога и изнасиловал, а затем убил. Он обесчестил даже царскую дочь. Поймите, настолько трагична ситуация Бога, который не может наказать этого вражину. Что заставляет Бога негодовать? То, что люди унаследовали ложный род. Вы все потомки ложного рода, источник которого сатана. Он хочет разрушить все творение, Вселенная, с которой вы связаны, ваши права собственности и ваше родословие. Все это такое же, как у сатаны. Когда вы смотрите, думаете, нюхаете, говорите, прикасаетесь к чему-нибудь, все ваши ощущения восходят корнями к сатане. У ваших предков были очень плохие прародители. Как же несчастен Бог, который пытается спасти таких людей. Почему бы ему не бросить Адама и Еву и не создать себе новых, Бог на это способен. Однако при сотворении Он соединил их с собой вечными узами изначальной и вечной истинной любви. Поэтому Он не может их бросить. Поймите, насколько несчастен и унижен Бог. Он может сказать: если бы я их не создал, ничего бы не случилось. Я искал любви и стремился к славному небесному царству, а вышло-то вон как. Почему так произошло? Потому что люди унаследовали плоть и кровь сатаны. Дьявол посеял семена своей любви. В человеке есть и жизнь сатаны, и его род. Если все это не удалить, Бог не сможет им владеть. Но стоит Богу вырвать это из человека, как тот умрет. Поэтому Небесному Отцу приходится медленно вливать в людей новую кровь, жизнь и любовь, чтобы воссоздать их, спасти и сделать подобными себе, то есть своими представителями. Он должен любить своего врага, терпеть и любить его. Мог ли Бог позволить себе отдохнуть, потому что зашло солнце, на дворе хорошая погода и вообще приятное время года? То же самое касается и вас. Вы должны любить своих врагов. Идите вперед и любите сатану, который стоит за кулисами мира и вселенной. Если я прославляю святость Божьего Сына и понимаю Его,
Those who understand English, raise your hand. Those who understand English. Those who don't understand English.
Тем, кто не понимает английский, оденьте наушники.
주로 여기 라트비아 사람. 어저께 리투아니아에서 걸어왔는데 어저께 밤으로 돌아갔어요. 러시아 사람들은 비자가 있기 때문에 못 들어왔어요.
우리나라 사람들이
예, 거의 다.
Those who had your faith, religion before you joined the Unification Church, show your hands.
Тот, кто верил в Бога и относился к какой-то религии перед присоединением Церкви Объединения, поднимите, пожалуйста, руку.
자, 너는 이렇게 하는 방법이 얼마나 힘들지?
Is it hard for you to sit down with your legs folding such a way?
Вам тяжело сидеть, скрестив ноги в такой прямой ровной позе?
지성 세계와 영리가
There is always a big gap between culture, Eastern culture and Western culture, just like we find a big gap between the spirit world and the physical world in this day.
Очень большая пропасть между физическим миром и духовным миром, и восточной культурой, и западной культурой.
Whereas a different culture that had different, for every tribe had different one. Small country, yeah, mountain, how big is three of those in the
So we have to be prepared. In order to keep the heavenly tradition and to live forever in the spirit world, you must prepare yourself in this physical world.
Чтобы жить в небесной традиции, приготовить хорошо, жить в духовном миру, мы должны хорошо
And most of the religions in the world and the philosophies and the ideologies, they do not understand the spirit existence of spirit world. But unificationism is a new breed of teaching which explains fully about the spirit, reality of the spirit world as well as the reality in this world. People think of living for 80 years, 100 years in this physical world, but actually, unless you are fully preparing yourself in this world for the next world, you have nothing to do with your life in the spirit world. Because of fall of man, this world doesn't belong to God yet. So we have nothing to do with our eternal life, unless you find the truth. Because we cannot find the original world, the unfolded world, so we cannot be trained in that state yet. We are not talking about just concept, but reality in our real life. Father sometimes thinks himself that, well, I make young people like you work hard and go through this hardship of sitting down on your knees, but there is no other choice. You have to be trained. Think of a father's life. Ever since father received revelations from God, his life has been a life of suffering and struggle and difficulty. Nothing to do with this mundane satanic world. But father didn't have choice either. Your relatives, your parents, and people around you oppose you. But your mind, of course, when they oppose you and persecute you, you feel difficulty and suffering, but your mind is straight. Your mind always tended to follow the right direction. Until you reach age 16, your original mind is still pure enough to deal with God. So therefore, if you continue developing your original mind even after age 16, naturally you will be able to follow Father's direction. Or you will be wondering many times, where is true Father now? Where is true Mother? What are they doing? That kind of original mind will lead you. But it's not an easy course. In an ordinary sense, people want to reach the top in their career, in studying and building career and this and that. It's very difficult for them to, because they have to overcome, they have to win from the competitions in various stages. Sometimes you may be the champion or you may be the best in your own circle or in your own country. But when you move to another country, you will have to face a new challenge to become the champion there. That's why we need a model, universal model. So what is the title of Father's message this time? God's ideal world and the model for the whole people. We need a model, a standard, example. So this God's ideal family is the model. So we have to fit to that level, that family, model. But this world is fallen world, the physical world is fallen world. So there is no model family, God's ideal family. So we have to learn from God, the spirit world, which true parents brought it down and show us through their practice of their life. But we live in this world and try to resemble the model family, ideal family, which is established by the true parents. But this, the span of our life is so short. But once we join the spirit world, it is eternal. So we have to prepare ourselves in this short time period. Hundreds of nations will deny that. There will be sacrifice. But unification movement will grow and prosper. So finally the time has come that it is the time of transition. We have to make a big quantum leap to this transition. Do you follow? It's a new era. Era after the coming of heaven. New era. The world of sleep and the world of awakeness is totally different. They are different. Between the people who learned a lot and didn't go to school at all, there is a big difference in terms of the level of knowledge. True father in the position of true parent. Think about it. Father has been walking this course all by himself to reach the true parent of humankind. All kind of opposition and difficulties. Father knows that well. So everything was upside down. So Father had to make it the right side up, all by himself. Think about the weight and the difficulty he had to go through. At the age of 24, Father established the Unification Church movement. So even then, at the age of 24, in 1934, already then, for 1944, he established this teaching, which we are learning now. So since the age of 16, the time Father started dealing with God, until the age of 24, that was the period that Father had to go through tremendous amount of difficulty and hardship to come up with this established truth from God. It's like a big distance from this world to that world. In each step, every step, Satan stopped him, blocked him, opposed him, persecuted him. Because of his own experience of like that, when Father sees young people like you, Father feels like training you through hardship for 3 years so that you can go beyond your national level, your own family and the people. You go to school, you live in your home. Even in that small boundary, you have much complicated situations sometimes and difficulties you are facing. So we have to have enough knowledge to deal with all those different situations. Faith and knowledge is different. Your faith may be conceptual, but the knowledge is the one you gain through your action, through reality. Do you understand, Father? Even as a sportsman, sports person, you have to go through hardship to reach the top.
수천억의 관광객 세계에 이런 둘러맨 너들은 나중에 들어가요.
So think about it. Father himself had to cultivate and develop this the movement up to this point. Even dealing with the spirit world, where hundreds of billions of people are living there. He had to overcome all the obstacles there and finally establish the God's coronation ceremony and now His kingdom, the 천일국. But once your original mind is connected to God, then you can know everything. You will speak the truth automatically. So as long as you have your original mind set straight, whatever situation or circumstances you may face in the future or in the spirit world, you will be able to adjust yourself. But your original mind is not set straight, then you will always fail. Even in the spirit world, your original mind is the guiding point. Always, either you will be united or repelled. Just like a magnet, N, north and south, N and the N and S. They repel, they unite. So you should be able to position yourself as S to the N as a magnet, so that you can be naturally accepted and united. Your population is about 2.3 million here. So if you young leaders in this country, 2.3 million people are well trained, you can go to Russia and become the leaders. You can educate the entire Russian people, 270 million people. Russia, in terms of the size of the population, Russia is about 100 times bigger than your country. Because you are about 2.3 million, Russia is 2.78 million. I mean 270 or 200 million. In the past, your country was colonized by the Soviet Union, dominated by them. But if you are truly educated and trained by true parents and become heavenly soldiers, you can educate Russian people now. Therefore, please do not lose your hope. What we see is only on the surface, from the surface up. But always there is something behind, I mean under the ground, like a tree roots. That should be a foundation.
High model different. His wife is like how can make it sales taking no problem. Everything.
И все, что растет наверху дерева, зависит от того, как
cut away the cards word. I can get on the help follow. See,
That's why we need a life of prayer and sincere effort into. As divine principle teaches us, we have to live our lives for the sake of others. That means living for the sake of others means you have to sacrifice yourself. So, because of fallen man, as an analogy, we are too heavy to fly. But as we keep sacrificing ourselves, we make our body, ourselves lighter and lighter so that we can jump and fly. Let's say about 5 billion people in the world. Each single person has different levels. Here, about 50 people, let's say. We all have different levels. We all have different ways, different methodology we use to reach. We are all, somehow, without knowing, we are striving to reach that level. Different levels. So you may say, oh, it is so difficult. Oh, I want to go back to my old way of life. But then you fall immediately from that position. Even if it's hard, keep trying to reach higher and higher. Because once you fall again, it's more difficult to climb up. So in order to make a quantum leap, you have to go through a revolutionary step in your life. That's why you need a life of prayer and sincere efforts. So not relying on your old religious the method or the traditions like Jesus, Buddha, and Muhammad, and so forth. You have to have a brand new start and brand new determination, new level of determination. Because once you reach the top, the goal, the level in heaven, then nobody is necessary. You need anybody. Nobody. I mean, Jesus and Buddha, Confucius, they will all be gone. They will be equal to you. You don't need their help. So you may be able to reach even higher than them. So they cannot descend to your level and teach you because of that. You have to work the way up. So that's why Father gives you push, even if it takes a hardship. Like the level of beggar, even lower than beggars. You start from there, which takes strong determination. That's the bottom. So like the communists and all those people, they're there. So you can fall only to that level because that is the bottom of the level. In the world of communism, you believed in the materialism, dialectical materialism, which sided with your bodily desire. So you always followed your desire of your body. That was the kind of life because there was no God in communism. But now it's a different, 180 degree different. We have to clean up that mess in order to reach another level. So we have to clean up the Buddhism tradition. We have to clean up the Confucianism tradition and so forth. Since true Father came, true parents came, and Father started cleaning up that kind of area and make every faith and every people united. Of course, opposition and persecution, but the Father cleared the path for us, He Himself, as the pioneer. That's why Father has no time to waste. He clearly sees the distance to cover, so how can He waste any minute? No time. Throughout the entire life, now at the age of 86, Father is still doing this kind of wonderful. Imagine, 50 years ago, when Father was in his 30s, people like today respected Father and followed Father and received Father's teaching. The world would have been changed long time ago, transformed long time ago. Right after the World War II, if Christianity had received Father, the world would have been transformed long time ago. The Allies country, right after World War II, they didn't like the fight anymore, so they went back to the stage of barbarians. But just leave everything alone. But actually, the European continent, particularly Scandinavian peninsula in the Balkan peninsula area, this area used to be the base. Long time ago, we are talking about, used to be the base of the pirates. Pirates who went out and killed people and steal things, and they come back and stay and leave. So they have to climb over mountains and this and that. So you are all tall and have long legs and long arms. So they all wanted to become the best, the champion. So that in order to become the champion, they always have to fight. So what direction? But your direction has to be exactly opposite from that, not fight. That's why it's difficult. It is more difficult to win than obtaining the championship through fight. Without fight, it's more difficult. After the World War II, if England and the Great Britain, France, had to receive true parents with their hearts. But now, you have more difficult the situation to receive true parents fully and go along with Father's direction and teaching. 50 years ago, the Christianity was at the top, at the pinnacle, in terms of the faith. The environment was there, prepared, because they won the war. But it was a matter of changing their attitude and direction, but some of them failed. But instead of going with heavenly direction, they started plundering their material wealth and freedom and liberty, drinking and drugs, and finally even came up with the lifestyle of free sex. What about free family instead of free sex? Even selling your own immediate family members, your brothers and sisters and so forth. That shouldn't be the way of life. Parents sell their children in some cases. That is the last resort, last stage of the satanic behavior. That's why everybody lost their directions. They are talking about patriotism. They are talking about true education. They are not thinking about true life of faith, true ideology whatsoever. They are confused.
뒤는
Никто не мог следовать за ними.
50년 됐으면 50년 된 소리 왔습니다. 앞서는 것이 아니고 더스레의 공성을
So now this world is
이렇게 아래서는 저희가 주는 날 꼭지를 저기다 했어요. 진짜로 그의 후스피가 저 스탈린 반대 보여줬죠. 공장민이잖아.
it's even way worse than the time right after the World War II, which is about 50 years ago. That time the Christianity was ready to do God's providence, but failed in accepting, believing in true parents. And on the other hand, the communism was so strong, but now everything is lost. No values, no morality whatsoever in your community and your nation.
사람은 틀리서 남자 여자 남자는 여자가 필요하고 여자는 남자가 필요하다.
But the one unchanging eternal truth is that there are two distinct kinds of people, men and women. We need each other. The relationship between men and women in general are all different types. This way and that way we are all connected.
이렇게 하다가 이렇게 됐는데 이렇게 돼가지고 또 이렇게 돼가지고.
But there gotta be right connection.
이렇게 만들어야 돼.
That way, between men and women, we have to have that kind of connection, not the opposite way. So in the last days, like today, we must go through the exchange marriage which the Father is preaching now. Through the exchange marriage, small nations will survive better, also have more hope. If your people here, Latvians, you marry Russian young people, then these two big country and small country will become one, like one family. You may feel, oh, our Latvian, if we do marry Russians, then our nation may just disappear. No, it's the other way around. When the heavenly hurricane comes, it becomes equalized. No different levels. It's just one harmonious nation. So everybody is like our brother and our sister. Because we studied that way, Adam and Eve, brother and sister. That's the only thing they were taught by God. Adam and Eve were supposed to grow like brother and sister. And then when they mature themselves, go through this process of marriage with God's blessing and become parents and eventually king and queen and the master of the entire universe. Well, nowadays, there's a crazy trend among the well-educated people, like spouse swapping, wife swapping, that kind of. That's why you young people. That's the worst kind of free sex, homosexuality. You can witness. So we young people have to be absolutely educated by true parents and destroy that kind of evil trend. That's why Father came up with this exchange marriage truth, which. Like you, Latvians, you may marry Korean, vice versa. All kind of, connect, religious, cultural marriage. Korea has about 70 million people. If the population is above 50 million, 70 million, then you can reach the advanced nation rank. Within 20 years, Korea reached the level of developed country, advanced country level. Think about your cellular phone technology. Korea is at the top.
13년 동안 좀 더 손이 따라.
In 13, 14 years, Korea caught up with Japan and German technology, whatever.
그래서 그것은 절대 섹스.
So that's why Father has been teaching about absolute sex instead of free sex. We are talking about absolute sex. God-centered sex, life of sex. If Satan opposes that, Father has the fundamental end, magnet end point, so he can digest everything, absorb everything. If anything repels from them, it will be an eternal departure, eternal division. No return. Father is in the position not to listen to any leader or anybody in this world. He only listens to God. Even among Father's own lineage, after third generation, Father will encourage them to go through this exchange marriage, marriage. The world-renowned president's children and the children, prince and princess of many the famous countries will come to Korea to find their spouses from Father's lineage. Father established the College of Abstinence, Purity. This Southern University, Father established the campus-wise. This is more beautiful and more prestigious looking than any other colleges in the world. Also very convenient. We have to know that. In the past, people thought Reverend Moon just took the young people and brainwashed them and used them as his servant and slaves like that. But now the result is absolutely opposite. So people open their eyes and come to respect the Father and even worship Father. Because God knows that Reverend Moon's teaching, Reverend Moon's words are the truth. What about you? You were forced to come to learn unificationism, or you came as a voluntarily? Because there is truth. That's why you are attracted. Isn't it true? Your original mind follows the right direction. Mind refuses peace. Lift up you understand more people why cannot accompany your nation's truth atmosphere. So that's why when anything is in your way of original mind's direction, then you abandon it. Even you have to, some of you left your home, leave your home and come to the church. Because your mind is there. Even if you belong to a royal family, whatsoever, your mind is there, leading you, guiding you to the right direction. Your physical desire, your bodily desire is there, but you must be able to sever it and go with it, with your original mind's direction and guidance. Instead of sitting in a chair, a comfortable chair, you sit on the floor. It's in a way like a life of, the hell experience for the people who never did it. But that's the way you put pressure on your bodily desire to put it down, make it smaller and smaller, and your original mind is greater and bigger.
тем больше вашей внутренней
Because usually the mundane world's tradition and customs are based on the bodily desire, so we have to ignore it and go beyond that. Even at the school, you and I wear nice clothes and eat nice food and be treated well. But you know, there are many gangsters and hoodlums in the school, those bullies. Always opposite, two worlds. So show your fist such a way Father does now. Put your hands together. There is a common saying in Korea, you know, 2 times 8, 2-8 youth of age 16. Age 28. 세상에서 보통 28 청춘하면 16살 얘기하는 16살 얘기합니다. 세상에서 28 청춘하면 16살 얘기하는 28을 16, 고박이로 얘기합니다. 세상은 그랬어요. We are talking about the youth age of 28. That's the peak of your youth. We have 12 different joints in your hand. So together it becomes 24. And you put your hands together with fingers crossed like that, and it becomes solid rock. Even if you lose your life, you can hang on to this way. It's a clamping. Even if the tiger comes and beats your neck off, you will still have this fist together this way.
Что бы ни случилось,
One,
Adam, Eve,
children, son and daughter, so 5. For women, for men, 5. Together, we have to be united, centering on God.
1, 2,
3. 3 is the center. Among your 5 fingers. So it's like a trinity. So 3, you like each other. There is common. Your God finger comes first down, and the other fingers protect them above like this, as you make a fist. Not this way, but this way. So when you grow in your mother's womb, you grow like this, not this way, but this way. God, Father, and Mother, children, together protect. So they are all connected and protecting God. The root is the thumb, your thumb. That way. So watch the newborn baby. They all come out this way, not this way. So centering on God, man and woman are united and will create one family. Oh, this is like a magnet. One is N, one is S. Plus and minus.
Making unified power or unified power, protecting itself, pushing in. Nothing.
Therefore, 2-8, 28 is
the key.
So 1, 2, 3. 3 is the center. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again 8. 8 is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. The center point is third finger. 6, 7, 8, 9,
열,
10,
열하나,
11, 12, 13. If you go by the joints.
Если вы считаете составы, в конечном итоге их получится 13.
Center. Lost number was the word lost center.
Человек потерял свой центр,
하나, 둘, 셋.
потому что он
네,
потерял Бога.
셋. 하나, 둘, 셋. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 팔이야,
8, number 8,
아홉, 열,
9, 10, 11, 12, 13 again.
8월 14일.
So 3, 8, 13 all meet at this third finger.
그래서 3, 8, 38, 9.
Like the 38 parallel line, DMZ line in Korean Peninsula. This midpoint. We call it Panmunjang. Pan means board, wooden board. The station built with wooden board, gate, like a gate, wooden gate.
하나님도 하나가 저기까지 뗄 수 없어요. 영원히 하나요.
Then it has to be absolutely united and connected so that nobody can separate it.
하나, 둘, 셋.
3. The third finger represents 3, 8, 13. They are all the same.
한국말과 한국 역사는 선사에 있어서
Korean language and Korean history
만성과 사실과 전부가
play a very critical role in God's providence.
40%, 4위 되는 것다고.
Over 40%, because we lost the pole position foundation.
4에서 5, 6, 7, 4에서 5, 6, 7수는 있어야 된다.
So we have to find it, number 7 as the center number now.
어쩔 수 없어.
No choice.
그 주요 같은 것도 전부 다